Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
I'm joined right now with Nick Martino. So you are taking on Jonathan Pearce on the 19th of March. I hope your fight camp has been superb, and I hope you're feeling tip-top shape to throw down. How's everything going in general, really?
Everything's going well. Like you said, my camp's going extremely well. Everything's solid, nailed down. Got a lot of support from everyone here at home. So it's going really well.
So 2016, what's your ultimate goals then? Obviously, you're looking to take down Jonathan Pearce in about 5 seconds. As soon as the bell goes, clothesline him, lights out. That will do. Thank you very much. Do you have any long-term goals for this year? Do you like to do that, or do you just literally, take one fight at a time because you don't know if you're going to be injured, or silly little things could happen? You could slip on a bar of soap out, and you can bust your knee and stuff.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously you got to take it one fight at a time. You can't get too far ahead of yourself. But I mean, I do have long-term goals. There's a couple of people in the 170 division at Valor that I would love to fight. A couple of guys that I have a lot of respect for that I think would make for fun fights. So, but try not to get too far ahead of myself. I just want to focus on Pearce and just get that W.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It's good to have those, in the back of your mind kind of thing, like you've got these guys that you'd like to fight. So, when you have these, like for example, you got Pearce coming up, in your fight camp then, do you visualize and do you research him? Do you like to get to know your opponent so that you can build a character to basically kill? Or do you just do your thing? Do you hit the gym, do your thing, and just when the fight comes, you react to how he fights? What's your kind of strategy outside of the fight?
I let my coaches do the researching. I found that a lot of times in the past I've researched my opponent and I become too concerned with what he's going to do, and instead of fighting my fight, I tend to counter everything that my opponent's trying to do. So I let my coaches do the research, and that way I have to rely on my coaches during the fight. So for me, it's a little bit of, I'm able to focus on what I need to do, and it forces me to make sure that I'm listening to my coaches.
So then this fight camp, obviously you've been focusing on certain strategies, certain movements, etc., certain kind of plays, and kind of reenacting certain things that might happen in the fight. But outside of that, outside of your fight camp, then when you're training, is there any areas that you personally feel that you've been working on particular to strengthen, that you maybe felt that, to kind of round off the whole MMA skill set that you need? Because obviously you can go in there and be a great boxer, but if you can't defend a takedown, it ain't going to do nothing for you. So is there anything in particular then that you felt that you have worked on that you're happy with now than you maybe weren't happy with before?
There's a couple things. I mean, you can always become a better martial artist. It doesn't matter how good of a striker you are. You can always become a better striker. For a long time in my career, I've always had good jiu-jitsu and good striking, but my wrestling is kind of, it's lacked a little bit. And so my submission game early in my amateur career, it would get me out of trouble. But I really, the higher up the ranks that I climbed, the better wrestlers I would face. So I'm with a really good wrestling coach now, and my wrestling is becoming, pretty top-notch. Just working, just evolving my striking game. I've got a lot better movement than I used to have. I come from a taekwondo and karate background, so I was a little more stationary. I've tried to study fighters like Conor McGregor and Dominic Cruz and DJ Dillashaw and start to implement a lot of footwork, and I found that footwork helps defend the takedowns just as well as the sprawl does. So I'm just trying to evolve every portion of my game.
What about Wonderboy Thompson then? Is he someone that you'd probably want to look at as well? Because he has that kind of point-scoring karate style as well. So, and his footwork's wonderful. The fact that he's able to get in and get out, and also the angles that he produces really, again, stops the takedowns getting put on him.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. I trained with Wonderboy for about 2 years. I used to train down at Pitch Black when I lived in South Carolina. I've moved since then, and I train out of Combat Athletics now. But yeah, Wonderboy he's a very talented fighter. He's got that karate base like I do. Uses his side kicks and his kicks to keep his opponents off of him. He's got very tactical movement. Every time somebody's trying to shoot in, he's always escaping, and really good blitzing too. He's able to back out and then counter back in on different angles. So yeah, definitely. Even in the 2 years that I spent down there, I'm no longer at Pitch Black, but the 2 years that made me the fighter that I am today, and I owe a lot of my movement and my technique to Stephen Thompson, actually.
He's a great guy. We've had him on the podcast before. He's a top bloke, and you know what? I cannot wait for the fight with him and Rory McDonald. That is going to be absolutely a stellar fight to watch.
It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
There's no nicer guy than Stephen Thompson.
I can't believe we have to wait. That's what I'm annoyed about. They announced it, and I thought, are you kidding me? It's months away. Got to wait forever. But anyway,
exactly.
It's going to be good to watch. But yeah, you know what you said there. You know, you working with him. It's going to rub off. You know, some of the winning techniques that he did. It will help you. But what you said like before with your jiu-jitsu, that was something that you could kind of fall back on with the amateur bouts. How have you found then, kind of, basically, you have to blend your wrestling and jiu-jitsu together. How have you found that transition then yourself? And also, you know, because you've been sharpening up your wrestling skills, how have you found the transition then with your striking to your wrestling to your jiu-jitsu? You know, because you've got to blend it all together. You can't, when you're in a fight, you can't just do one aspect. You've got to try and make sure they're all amalgamated together so it's this one beautiful kind of creation. How have you found it so far?
It's actually been working pretty well. You know, when you first start, you struggle with it a little bit, but you know, when you start to understand the fundamentals of it, and you start to realize that it's all the same thing, just different positions, and it all starts to flow together a lot more. My wrestling has made my jiu-jitsu a lot better. You know, I used to be a very passive jiu-jitsu player. I was a guard guy, and I'd stay really relaxed, and I'd just wait, bide my time waiting for a submission. And my wrestling it's really made me more aggressive. I pressure a lot more now, and I think it's actually made me a grittier jiu-jitsu fighter, and I'm able to push for submissions a lot faster. I don't settle for bad positions. And as far as striking goes, you know, my wrestling has helped my striking, just that knowledge of being, if all of a sudden you get tagged, it doesn't matter how good of a striker you are, sometimes you're going to need to drop in and go for that takedown. And then just even, the enhancements that I've made for my striking, just the movement itself has, the angles that I create allow me to set up for better takedowns. So it's going well. Obviously, I'm still a long ways from where I want to be. I'm always trying to improve. It doesn't matter how good you are, you can always be better.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
I feel like in a really good place.
Well, have you found that as well with the wrestling, has your punching power improved in any way? Because with the wrestling, you have to have a very, it's a very much about the kind of low base. You're very much planted low, so there's a lot of good low center of gravity, but also you can explode with a portion of your weight, which brings the power. I find that some guys in particular do some really good work on it, which is Uriah Faber and Dwayne. So TJ Dillashaw did it. They got it from Dwayne Ludwig. I feel it when they the fake shoot for the double or even a single. They would come up then with a combination of either they'd throw a punch, a kick, or what they can throw combinations from that, and that would also, because their movement of momentum are coming down and coming up. That punch is just building this power, without even having to swing that hard because your body's going.
Yeah. Yeah, the more I've worked on my wrestling, and again, I've got a really good wrestling coach, Josh Stanley. He used to wrestle over at here in North Carolina, and he's worked with me a lot. And really wrestling gives you a very good core and a very good base. And if you have a strong base, you learn that in karate too. The better your base is, the stronger that your punches are going to be. And wrestling really, you have to have a good base in order to be a good wrestler. You learn to be more explosive. I've also, to improve my wrestling and my explosiveness, and lifting a lot too, and that's helped my punching power. I'm planning after this fight against Pearce to move up permanently to 170. I fought at 55 most of my career. So trying to develop that power, and the wrestling really has helped with that.
Oh, so the weight class difference then, why is it? Just because it's too much on the body at 155, or do you just feel like you're just more comfortable physically in yourself and mentally at 170? Is that the reason?
I feel more comfortable at 170. The weight, I can make weight at 155. I've been doing it for a long time, but even honestly, again, it's been 2 years with Wonderboy. Wonderboy and I are pretty much the same size. We're both 6 foot tall. We both walk around about 185. And I was originally nervous about moving up to 70, but Stephen's in there beating up guys like Johnny Hendricks. And even if I'm a little bit smaller at 170, I'm going to have that speed advantage. And with new rules, with all these different leagues are starting to change the rules as far as the dehydration rules and, no more IVs. These things are changing in MMA, and I think within a few more years, guys are going to be fighting closer to their actual walk-around weight. Being a Taekwondo and karate fighter, that's what I started off doing. I didn't know that weight cuts were a thing. My first couple of amateur fights, I fought guys a lot bigger than me, and I held my own. And so, the weight cuts are just they're aggravating, and there's a lot of risk behind them if you don't do them correctly. Flooding your body with the water and cutting out salt. There's opportunity for seizures and stuff. So I'm young. I don't want to mess with it. So I feel more comfortable just moving up to something close to my walk-around weight.
I will tell you now, that's a good move to make, because I went to 170. I went down to 170, and I was competing at 205. And I'll tell you what, that weight cut down to 170 was an experience, to say the least. My body really did not like me very much. If I am to compete at 170 again in the future, I am gonna have to get my weight down. Even I know, to 185, and that's walking around comfortably at 185 before I start the cut. I was having to start the cut when I was about mid 190s when I started doing the weight cut then, because I just walk around. Naturally, I walk around actually over 200 pounds to get down to to get to about 190 myself. I'm looking, I'm having to be careful of what I eat, and I have to put the cardio effort in. It's just, I'm just not that, I'm just a big thick set. I've got a big fat ass and I've got big fat thighs, because I played a sport called rugby for like 10 years of growing up, so it's just one of them sports where I just got a big ass and big thighs, and it's really that weight cut, and I have to be really careful. So it's going to take a lot of time for me to get down that weight, but it is a big part of the sport, which is I think we'll start to see, especially in the next couple of years, you'll start to see a lot of people shifting up the weight classes and people walking around. They're a lot more comfortable around close to their weight. It's making a lot more sense.
Exactly. I think that's the way it's going to go. I mean, I have teammates, guys that I used to fight with that would walk around at 230 and cut down to 170, and they would, there's so much you're losing, whether it be, and you're putting your body in a lot of danger too.
Yeah.
I didn't wrestle in high school, so I wasn't used to it, so the weight cuts were even a little bit of a shock for me when I first started. But the thing is, it's funny, because you'll have two fighters that are pretty much walking around at the same weight, and then they cut down. For example, my last opponent, we both basically walked around at 185. We both cut to 155, and then by the time we got into the cage, we were both 173. So what was the point? I mean, we both cut the weight, we both put ourselves through all this crap to fight each other at pretty much the same weight anyway. Well, why bother with the weight cut at all? So. Yeah.
Why don't you just fight each other at 185? Yeah, it kind of, it's a bit strange, and I probably didn't realise that until a couple of fights in, and I was thinking, why am I doing this? I just thought, I don't even need to, do these drastic cuts, and I think I need to just I personally need to get myself down a lot lower. I need to avoid anything that's a cake, and, because they're delicious. Yeah, they do not help me get down in the weight class. I need to avoid all that stuff and do this stupid thing called cardio, which sucks ass. And but I'll get there eventually. But but yeah, it is one of them things. It's huge, and it's an important part, because I think, especially with the sport, people are starting to realise, especially with the weight cutting, the effects of brain trauma. It's huge. It's absolutely huge, especially. Just because it's not happening straight away, it can happen in the future, and that's the worrying thing. You don't know what the long-term effects are, but if you're healthy when you're fighting, your brain's hydrated, it reduces any potential future problems.
Exactly. I mean, I've had a couple of amateur kickboxing fights over the past couple of months, and I felt so good. I've moved up to like 65 and 70 for those. And I've really just felt good. I felt stronger. I felt like, even against bigger opponents, I don't feel like and obviously, kickboxing is different. There's no ground involved. When you get somebody who's bigger on top of you, that changes things. But still, especially with, how heavy I've been lifting recently and stuff like that, I'm getting stronger. And I just feel like, like you said, more guys are going to start to walk around, 10, 15, maybe at the most 20 pounds heavier than their I think we're going to see some big changes in the next 5 years, just with the different commissions and stuff.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting. I quite look forward to it. And the thing is, someone like yourself, you're smart enough to start to make the steps and the moves already. And that shows that not only as a competitor, sorry about that, clear my throat. Not only as a competitor in MMA, you've got the mindset already to look ahead and think, right, do I want to do these big weight cuts? No, I'm going to get myself ready now. So you're already ahead of the curve in a way.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. You hear fighters talk about training smarter, and whether it be weight cuts, whether it be the way that you spar. I've been to those old school gyms where they're doing the massive weight cuts, and every single time you get in there and you're sparring, you're trying to knock each other out. And, there was a point where I just realized I need to fight smarter. I want to enjoy this too. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This isn't something I'm just doing as a hobby. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And, I don't want to be absolutely miserable during every single fight, every single weight cut. So, I'll move up. And again, I think that's where the future's going to go anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to go that way. And I look forward to the sport being healthy, and I'm not worried about fighters as well. It's a big thing. So, look, you're fighting in Apex 10. You're fighting against Jonathan Pearce. It's going down 19th of March. If you are in the area, you can get tickets, folks. But if you aren't, don't worry about it. You can maybe tune into... Sorry, I got to clear my throat again, mate. This is killing me, this. Oh, my throat. Sorry about that. But if you would like to follow Nick maybe on social media... Nick, how can people do that? Do you have like a Facebook page that they can follow, or a Twitter account, or anything like that?
I do. I have my Facebook page is Nick Overblood Martino, and I got a fighter page set up, and I also have a Twitter account which is Nick Martino MMA. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on all of it. I have all the different social media connected. So if you friend me or if you like one of my pages, you'll see links to the others too. So
there you go, folks. Jump on, give Nick a follow, give him support, join him on his venture in MMA. And what about? Have you got any sponsors helping you out at all?
Yeah, I got a couple of different sponsors that have sponsored me for this fight. I got Goldsmith by Rudy; they've been fantastic. I've got Natural Electronics; those guys have really helped me out for multiple fights. I've got White Squirrel Photography; big shout out to them, and honestly my teams. Combat Athletics has taken me and really made me feel at home. This is, I've fought for them a couple of times, but this one's really special because, the pro debut and everything, so they've treated me very well. Aikido Karate, that's where I kind of started my whole martial arts experience when I was a kid, and I also owe a lot to them too.
I was about to say, do you want to give a mention to your gym and stuff? And whereabouts is the gym in case anyone wants to go and train there, or maybe do a bit of fitness, or if they are competing and they want to try and join a new gym, whereabouts is it?
My gym, Combat Athletics, that's in Mocksville, North Carolina. It's probably about 20 minutes outside of Winston-Salem. It's in Daviess County. You're going to get some of the best wrestlers that you can possibly imagine in there. These guys are fantastic. The head coach, Josh Stanley, he's got a tremendous amount of wrestling experience. He actually spent a little bit of time training with Alpha Male as well. And you're going to get every different body size you can imagine. You're going to get every type of skill set you can imagine. They've got both male and female fighters, great striking coaches in there. They've got great wrestling, solid jiu-jitsu. So it's a very well-rounded gym. And again, it's in Mocksville, North Carolina, about 15, 20 minutes outside of Winston-Salem.
There you go, folks. If you're interested and you're in that area or vicinity and you can get there, go down, join, embrace the MMA world. It's a great community. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun there. Look, Nick, I want to say have a great fight on the 19th. Have a great time against Jonathan. Enjoy that moment. It's a great moment, and it's always fun anyway when you compete. Just absorb it. Take everything you can away from it, and also in 2016, have a great 2016, man. Competing in just a great year.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.